Yo, what's up, guys? We're back at it with another PRFFLMP. I think I got them all. And
Yep.
it's Trevor, and
Sam.
we have our special guest host this week, the one and only, the head coach and GM of the Prostate Podcasters, Cody Nowles.
Prostate broadcasters?
That is
I,
the
I
face
don't
of a
think that's the
man who has
thing.
not, that's the face of a man who has not been listening to the PRFFFLMP for the
No,
last
I
few
have
weeks.
not. But
I
if that's the nickname that you've given my team, I mean,
Yeah.
they're not doing well, but I don't
it's
think they deserve that. They're
it's
trying
more or
their
less.
best.
Hey, your prostate is a very important organ. You know,
You're not
to say that,
wrong.
it's not a knock on anyone's team. It's more that I think one time I accidentally said prostate podcasters instead of what is it, the
Procrastinating. The procrastinating
procrastinating
podcasters.
podcasters. Yeah, and at that
It
point
just
it was stuck.
it just
Yeah,
stuck.
yeah, we couldn't move on from that.
Oh goodness. See the
But
I guess that
content
makes
you've been
sense.
missing out on.
all those times I said prostate podcasters. Big fan. All right. Well, let's get this thing cracking. I'm going to start recording my screen whenever I remember how to do that.
Awesome. So Cody, while
And
he's doing that, what have been your thoughts on the NFL season so far?
I've barely been paying attention. Um, I don't know. Uh,
Can you name
Clearly
anything
it's
exciting in the
clearly it's been
NFL?
absolute garbage because my team's lost 6 out of 10 games. So like yeah, the,
Terrible.
the the whole NFL is just in the crapper for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah, so
that's
it's
reasonable.
the
So I don't
NFL's
know
it's
what's
the
going
NFL's
on.
fault. The NFL's fault that your team's bad.
Hmm.
Precisely, yes.
Okay. I
Yep.
like that.
No,
Yeah.
That's a
no,
good
no
team.
mismanagement on my end at all.
Yeah. He drafted the right players. The problem is that the right players aren't playing well enough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yep.
However, he did get a win this week. So do you want to start off with we want to start off with Cody's matchup against the old where
I'm here
was he?
for it.
Light the
So
egg on fire.
we've got the
Yeah, I had
prostate
I had a pretty good
podcasters and the
good
eggs.
day or good week last week, despite actually even having a running back that didn't play.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Can you give us any insight on one, how you got Josh Jacobs as a player, and then secondarily, why you started him even though he didn't really seem to be playing this week?
I got him on the first day of hockey season when there was a spree that made some players available. It was
Mm-hmm.
all above board and done by lottery. Um,
Okay. Okay.
and so as it happened, I was able to snag him.
Yeah.
And he's been pretty strong other than last week. He
I
didn't play.
was gonna say it. It
Mhm.
seems like it's worked out pretty well for you, especially because I think the player that you traded for him was terrible.
Yes.
Yeah. Do you even
Yes.
know who the guy was that you traded away?
Nope, can't remember.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
He'd
Yeah.
been sitting
But
on my
that's
bench. He was like one of three. I don't know why, but I had like three quarterbacks on my bench.
Well, he
And
oh,
wasn't
so he
one
you've
of
was
your
had
one
three
of
quarterbacks, but
quarterbacks
you
forever.
still got
Yeah.
your three
You
quarterbacks.
still have three quarterbacks.
So one of the
well,
things
no,
you
I,
have
I
done.
I used to have four. I
Oh,
traded one away.
No, you traded a receiver.
maybe
Did
you
I?
dropped a
Okay.
fourth quarterback. But anyways,
Yeah.
one of our favorite mini games we've played every week, Cody, is did Cody start the correct quarterback? Because you have three quarterbacks and it's not easy to pick the right one every week. And you were like
Yep.
7 for 7 through the first 7 weeks.
Yeah.
And then there was finally one week where you started the wrong one, which is
Yep.
disappointing.
Yep.
Yeah. But this
I
week
think
you
I
came out
remember that week.
yet
I
again.
was frustrated by that.
Yeah, you got it this week though. Brock
Yep.
Purdy over Justin Herbert. It was pretty easy to not play Trevor Lawrence, I'd imagine. But
Yeah.
See, the thing
I did play the wrong defense that last week though.
yeah, yeah. Now, Cody, here's one thing. So did you know that it gives you a projection as to how many points they think that player will score?
Yeah.
Yeah. So then, what was the meta call of Baltimore over Buffalo?
Honestly, this the same one as the one that left Jacobs in the roster, and that's
Okay,
I didn't look at my roster last week at
that
all.
you know what? That checks
That's
out. Yeah.
pretty. That's a pretty common mistake.
Mhm.
Um,
Mhm. Mhm.
so yeah,
And
I like you go back to the quarterbacks in just a second. Like the thing with Cody's quarterbacks is they're all mediocre. Like
yeah,
none of them are like great quarterbacks. So it makes that decision even tougher every week. So I've been impressed with Cody's ability to select the
pick
right
the right
one.
one.
Like,
Yeah,
8 out of 10. He says
absolutely.
80. Yeah, 80%.
Yeah.
Um, uh, I guess Cody said he listened to the first few weeks of our podcast where we were saying to drop Mark Andrews. He hasn't done that yet.
He
Cody,
hasn't.
I would highly recommend starting Mark Andrews as much as
Mhm.
you can.
Mhm.
He's been on fire recently.
Yeah.
We will,
He's got
we'll take our
5
losses from
touchdowns through
earlier
the
this
last
season.
5 weeks.
Yeah, he's on fire. So he's definitely had a huge bounce back season in the last few weeks. And then,
Yeah.
of course, good week from his kicker. One of your favorite players, T Bass. Ernest,
T-Bass.
is
I
that
think it's
Ernest
Tyler
T Bass
Bass.
from? Yeah, Ernest T Bass
Yeah.
from Ain't.
Yeah.
But
He had a great
yeah,
week.
solid week. Good week from James Cook. Great week from
Uh-huh.
Purdy.
Yep. Yep.
Devontae Adams hasn't really panned out too much since coming over
Yeah. To be
to the
fair,
Jets.
he did drop a touchdown pass this week. It was literally in his hands and he just dropped it, which he doesn't do very frequently, but
Yeah, and then
yeah,
we're
not
looking
a
over.
great season.
Yeah, looking over at Aaron's team. I feel like Aaron's team's
Mm-hmm.
kind of fallen off the map a little bit recently.
They have.
You know, he's still sticking with his Indianapolis quarterback, so you gotta
Yep,
love
Joe
that.
Flacco. Yeah.
hmm
To be
But
fair, it's
really,
probably a good thing he didn't start Jared Goff this week with his 5 interceptions. Now, it
yeah,
is interesting to salvage a fantasy stat line with 5 interceptions. That's not an easy thing to do.
that's true. Yeah, a lot of Aaron's big stars this week didn't really perform. Jefferson,
Mm,
Flowers, Pollard had
Flowers.
below their projections.
Hmm.
Otherwise, it could have been a very different story.
Yeah, yeah. But, Cody took him to the cleaners.
Yeah.
He definitely left some points here on the bench here, right, with Downs, Mooney. But I don't think he could have really done anything impactful, especially when you consider that Cody did not start a running back.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah. So
tough,
Cody,
tough matchup there for
any
Aaron.
yeah, you have any trash talk to give to Aaron, Cody?
I mean, I don't know. Get good.
Oh
Spencer,
man.
get wrecked.
I
Get
beat
wrecked,
you
idiot.
with one fewer players. I think that's some kind of bragging rights somewhere.
That is some pretty solid bragging rights. I would have to agree.
It's like that one
Whoa.
week when Jacob was counting his chickens before they hatched and was bragging to
Mhm.
everyone that he was going to beat me without even a full roster, and then he lost.
Although he did do that a few weeks ago when he beat Matt with half a team.
That's true. That is true. But I
All
don't
right.
remember
Yeah.
that as
Good.
fondly as beating him.
Yeah. Well, you know what, Cody? I know you're talking. You said your team hasn't been very good, but you have won
Yeah.
3 in a row. Actually, you're on a 3-game win streak, Cody.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no,
So
on
it,
a
it's been
tear.
better than the beginning of the season. It
Yeah.
started
Yeah.
off pretty rough. I'm not gonna lie, and that's one of the reasons why I stopped paying attention for sure. I even put so much effort into my logo this year too.
I do like
Thought it
your
was
logo quite a
I
bit.
thought
That's
my
pretty
team logo
cool.
was pretty on point.
We'll talk more logos later in the show. But yeah, I think you do have one of the better logos in the league this year too.
Yeah. Probably
But
second
Cody,
best after mine.
yeah, one of the things I appreciate about you, Cody, is that like I know you don't know a whole lot about the NFL, but you actually pay attention to this, and I know it is harder when your team's not good, but like I appreciate like that you actually put effort into this, not really knowing um, much about it. So your soul from last year has kind of like uh, has kind of like transitioned over to Levi. So why don't we go talk about Levi's team while we're on that subject? Because this year Levi is the new Cody.
Man, he absolutely is just thrashing teams. There's
Yeah,
just not close. Also, in case anyone wanted to know, this woman lost 21 pounds in 2 months, and she's thrilled with the results.
that's
Amazing.
awesome.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Any,
Good for her.
anyways,
What was that advertisement?
weight loss
Just
by
weight
hers.
loss?
Yeah, yeah.
Cool. Go
Good for
her.
Sherry.
Yeah. Um,
Um.
Speaking of big
Anyways,
losses, W Squad, big loss there.
man,
And
Sam,
once again, Levi did it for De Armas.
he did it for De Armas. Man, he has been known to do it for De Armas, and he will continue to do it for De Armas.
Yeah.
I mean, Jalen Hurts coming in with a 30 bomb's pretty nice. He had 2 rushing touchdowns. Do you ever feel like Jalen Hurts at this point is just like he's just a touchdown thief? He steals them from Saquon Barkley. There's Saquon Barkley's touchdowns, and Jalen Hurts steals them every time.
Yeah. Jalen Hurts is now the number 4 ranked player in fantasy this year. Just look at those last 5 weeks.
Oh
Why
yeah,
don't you?
he's
Look how
gone
crazy.
absolutely bananas. I mean, the last 3 weeks he's averaging over 30 points, like 32 points a game.
He's got
That's
16 total
insane.
touchdowns. 16 total touchdowns the last 5 weeks.
This is bananas.
Crazy stat line.
Yeah.
Yeah, he still has all those rushing. He's got 10 rushing touchdowns, which is by far probably the most of any quarterback, I would have to imagine.
Yeah, certainly.
He may end up. I don't know if this is true or not, but I feel like he might end up like being the all-time leader for quarterback rushing touchdowns when his career's over.
Probably so, because all of his tush and push-ins.
No.
But I mean, then
tushes,
like, yeah.
Yeah, speaking of tushes, Derrick Henry, below his projected average.
He did. But everyone did get to see his butt on national television, so that was pretty cool.
Yeah, both cheeks too. So
Both cheeks.
I don't know if Levi gained or lost any points for that. Cody,
Yeah,
what's your ruling on how fantasy should score a player's nudity coming out on national television?
I'm pretty sure that ass cheeks are not considered nudity. At least by the like what is it?
By the
FTC?
NFL standards, but by TV they are though.
I guess. I don't know. I don't know how fantasy would score that. Maybe just like a gold star.
Oh, okay. I like
okay,
that.
I'll take a gold star. Yeah, that seems reasonable.
Yeah.
So we'll give Levi 111.28 points and a gold star for this week.
Oh, that
sounds pretty good.
And Levi really doesn't need any more help than that.
He does not. He is tearing through teams. His defense did absolutely less than nothing for him. 0 points. Mike Gesicki kind of sucks because he plays for Cincinnati.
Hey, now.
Hey, that game, that's a tough one. That's a tough pill to swallow.
That was, but really good fantasy performances all around in that game, which we'll talk about some of that later.
Except for Mike Gesicki.
Yeah. Looking at Levi's running backs, which have been the MVPs of the season, they all finished below their projected average.
Yeah, they had mediocre weeks, but if I'm getting 13 points from a player, I'm usually relatively happy with that performance.
You know who probably wished they got 13 points from their running backs?
Me.
Oh yeah, that too. Maybe more like the L squad, am I right?
Hey, you got that right. Yeah, I mean, where to begin here, right? Achan's been a monster, honestly. So he's always just kind of, you throw him out there. But I guess I played against Matt when Achan put up 30, which wasn't super cool.
Yeah.
But
he's definitely
a down
better
week for him. Yes. DeAndre Swift. Chicago just looked miserable against New England, who is not very good. Trey McBride has looked really good with the Cardinals. He's having a good year. Puka's back and he's healthy.
He's not punching
people. And then the New England
defense.
defense. Yeah, didn't punch anyone this week. Good for him. He stayed in the whole game. Yeah, I mean, just not a great week from a lot of Matt's guys. Jaden Daniels didn't do super well, right? I mean, he's still obviously kind of a set it and forget it type quarterback, right? He's had 2, arguably 3 weeks that are pretty down, and beyond that, he's been 20 plus points every week. Right. So you're pretty happy with that. But let's take a peek at the bench here, right? Yeah, he didn't start Tyreek Hill, which I think is an interesting debate, to or
Yeah.
to not start Tyreek Hill.
I did see a really interesting stat earlier this week. You may have seen this too, Trevor. But
Mhm.
in games where Tyreek Hill has been arrested before the game, he's had over 100 receiving yards. In games where he has
Interesting.
not been arrested before the game, he has
Mhm.
under 100 receiving yards.
Hmm.
I think he just needs to get arrested before every game or
Yeah,
reprimanded. I know Matt's going to be like, he wasn't arrested. You know what I mean?
he
So,
was detained.
interesting stat line.
He was certainly detained. He was in handcuffs.
Yeah, there you go. Detained.
Yeah, yeah. So we should definitely Matt should look
He probably
into the
uses that
Miami Police Department.
frustration to
Yeah.
fuel his
Yeah.
game.
Well, I don't know if you saw this, Cody, but his celebration the week that he got detained on his way to the game was him like he did like a fake getting arrested celebration,
Yeah.
which was
That's
pretty
funny.
funny.
That
Yeah.
was funny.
Um. Anyways, so yeah, not a lot going on the bench here for either team, right? We got Danny
Yeah.
Dimes doing what Danny Dimes does. He loses. Rombo Dunze has had a pretty awful rookie season, right?
Yeah. Not
I mean,
great.
for as hyped up as he was a top 20 pick. I don't remember when he went, but he was.
I think,
What was he?
well, yeah, he was top 15 at least.
Yeah, he was the number 2 wide receiver off the board.
Mhm.
Um, in the draft, in the actual draft, he was at pretty high expectations this year, and he's only had 2 games where he has scored more than 7 points.
Rough.
That's not a lot.
Yeah. I do
But
think
alas,
I do think Matt Seam will turn it around. I feel like he's been struggling a little bit lately, but he's got some players back.
yeah, he
Um,
does.
so I think he'll be all
Yeah,
right. Cody, do you have being so last year you started off hot? Levi's done the same this year. If I recall last year, your team kind of dropped off in the second half of the season. What advice would you give to Levi to keep the strong momentum going?
Was last year the year that I went like undefeated for the first 10
for
weeks
quite some. Yeah,
You
yeah.
or
you
nine
started like
weeks?
one or something.
I don't know. Honestly, I think he's got a good strategy. Just keep doing it for DeArmas,
Yeah,
and
Yeah.
and use
yeah.
that desire for your girlfriend that's a screen to
That's right.
just keep going strong. I'm
Awesome.
sure
Yeah.
she'll hear about your success
Yeah,
in
we can
fantasy
tweet it to her.
football. Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah, Levi, if you're listening, which I don't think you are, if you win this season, I will tweet your victory to Anna De Armas.
Until
I
she
don't think
responds to it.
that's right. Every day, I'll do day one of tweeting Anna De Armas until she responds.
Yep.
I don't think she'll respond, but I'll do my best.
Yeah. Keep doing it for Day Armas, man.
That's right. Well, let's move on to the next one. We've spent a lot of time on the first two, and we've got
Yeah,
4
we
more
have.
to
How much
go.
time do we have left?
I don't know. It doesn't tell me until we have 10 minutes. So let's just cruise along. Let's hit the Numballers and Zach on the couch because that's actually a really good matchup.
This was a fun matchup.
Good one. Good one here.
Fun matchup.
I mean, great matchup across the board. It's difficult to see a 50 bomb lose. That's not a thing that you see often.
Yeah. I mean,
However, go ahead.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, I think it's crazy that T. Higgins and Jamar Chase combined for 49.9 points for Paul's team, and he still
Yeah.
lost.
Yes. Yes. Now, have we considered what would have happened had he started any other wide receiver? I guess
Literally,
he
any
doesn't
other
have
receiver.
one.
He got Brian
He
Thomas Jr. Or
That's
he could
true.
have started. He could have started Jake Ferguson in that
That's true.
flex spot.
He could have started. Yeah, I mean, either one of these guys would have gotten him a dub.
Mhm.
But I appreciate him sticking with T. Higgins though.
Yeah, I do too. I love the theme. I love Paul for being a loyal guy.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's gonna go down with T. Higgins, and that's something you got to respect.
Yeah. It's honorable.
Rumor has it that Paul needs to download the app, I believe.
That's correct. That's correct.
So this is just a plug-in for Paul. Download the app again. We said it last week. So yeah.
I think this is his third fantasy season where he still does not have the app downloaded on his phone.
Yeah, Cody, do
which
you use
is
the app to check your team?
Yeah,
Or
I
do you
use the app on my phone. I don't even know how to find it on the website or like on my computer.
yeah, and that's reasonable because the app is so user friendly and easy to use. But
Yeah, it's
anyways,
so easy
um,
that Cody can use it.
so easy Cody can use it. Um, but also, I mean, he had Josh Allen had a good performance. David Montgomery did well. Kyron Williams not as good as he normally does, but
Mm.
overall, I mean, his guys did what they needed to do. You shouldn't expect to lose a game where you're putting up 115 points. But
No,
alas, he did because Zach had Lamar Jackson, who threw for 4 touchdowns, 290 yards, and then
still the
Bijan
number one ranked
Robinson.
team in fantasy. Yeah.
Yeah, and then Bijan Robinson going crazy as well. And he hasn't had like an outstanding fantasy season, has he? I guess his last. Well, I did not realize his last 6 games, 5 games, he has actually been very, very productive.
But you look at those matchups that he's had there. He's had some pretty easy matchups.
That's
But yeah,
true.
he's getting a lot of
Yeah,
yards, a lot of
he
touches.
he just finished up the easy stretch of the season, and now they're moving on to the harder stretch of the
Mhm.
season. So, but alas, yeah, I mean Zach's team, they did it. They got off the couch. They put some
Yep.
points on the board. Um, and I think he even had some play. Yeah, he left some points on the sideline with Austin Eckler, Cortland Sutton. But props to Zach. I still think Zach's team has a. I mean, look at it now. He's in 7th place. He's one shot out or one place outside of making the playoffs currently.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. I would not want to play Zach's team, not with
no,
being led by Lamar Jackson.
right? Yeah, I would try and avoid that if you can. You see
I
Zach
also
on the
don't
on your roster or in your lineup, get rid of it.
I also don't want to play Paul. I mean, I think between Paul and Zach, like which of those two would you want to play in the playoffs? Probably
If
Paul
I
because he doesn't
could,
have a
neither.
team.
That's true. Paul will probably start T Higgins, which theoretically would give me a boost.
Yeah,
However, between T Higgins and Jamar Chase, if they put up 50 points again, that's tough.
yeah. I think if you play Paul in the playoffs, I think just steal every computer in the world and
Yes.
prevent him from checking his teams.
Yeah, that ought to do it.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's hit up the
That was
next
a
one
fun
here.
matchup. Really, really great performances from Jamar and Lamar Jackson.
Yeah, absolutely. Next up, let's hit up the stoppable force and the plute balls.
Mm.
Yeah, I mean the stoppable force has really just not
He's
looked
been
good,
stopped.
right? Right. I mean, what do we have to say, Cody? What do you have to say here about Jacob's team? I
I
want to hear
mean,
your
I
take.
I don't think he's been paying much attention, to be honest. I also think that due to some weird unforeseen incident, he's been handed some players that I think are suboptimal.
That's true. It's
I don't
interesting
know
because
where they would have come from. I don't think we can
Yeah, I don't
really
have
trace that back to any specific day of any kind,
no.
or any kind of incident. But
I think
I
it
think
was
he
this
just
player.
probably drafted poorly,
Yeah, so
which
this
is
is the
surprising.
guy. This is the guy that you traded to him,
Hmm,
Cody. Joshua Palmer.
Josh Palmer. Let's
I
see
don't
how
I don't
what
know
kind of
what you're
season
talking
he
about. I
had.
don't believe I traded anyone to Jacob. I got
To
all
be fair,
my players legitimately, and
they
there's
were
no
all
scandal at all.
organically
Yep,
sourced players.
organically sourced players,
That's
straight
right.
from the ground.
That's right.
There's no corruption, nothing going
No
on here.
collusion of any kind.
I
No,
think
none
Josh
of any
Palmer would
kind.
be better off in the ground.
It is tough to say that there's collusion when one of you is 2-8 and the other one's 3-7.
Put some
Yes,
respect on the prostate podcasters. They're 4-6,
4-6. Okay, that's true. That's true. You're making a push. Making a push.
3 in a row. He's won 3 in a row.
Th- Three in a
Uh,
row.
Jacob's team can't win 3 in a row though. I don't know if he's gonna. I don't know. I mean, what's Jacob supposed to do? I mean, Sam Darnold, Marvin Harrison Jr.'s hit or miss. Nobody else. Joe Mixon's having a good season, but nobody else on his team's really doing anything.
Yeah. And this is a rare good week for Marvin Harrison Jr. He's had, little flashes of greatness, but overall, I mean, it's a lot of stinkers. I do like seeing the defenses, going at it here, right? Atlanta with a resounding 1 point and Cincinnati with -4. Do you have anything to say about that -4 performance, Sam?
Yeah, they weren't good. They couldn't stop. I don't even know. It was just bad.
Sounds
They
good.
couldn't.
Yeah.
They couldn't stop me out there. They probably
They
couldn't
couldn't
stop.
stop
Like,
a
if it was just the three of us, me, you, and Cody, like,
yeah.
yeah, they wouldn't be able to stop us.
They would try to tackle me on the sideline for a sack, and then I would run for a 20-yard gain.
Yeah, and then Cody would
Yeah.
film it all and release it to the world to see.
Right. But
it would
tough
6 weeks
tough
later.
week for the Plute Balls, or for the stoppable forces. But the Plute Balls, they were pluting, right? James Conner has had a sneaky good year. He really has had a lot. I mean, he has only underperformed 2 weeks. Every
Yeah.
week beyond that, he has overperformed from his projection, with modest projections as well, right? I mean, for a projection of 12 points and overperforming is quite reasonable.
Yeah, no, he's an underrated running back. He's consistent. I've had him on my teams a couple times, and like he never goes crazy, but he's always like
Yeah.
really consistent right around his projections.
Yep.
Josiah's team, he's won 2 in a row. So good for Josiah.
And so far, I think Josiah is the only team to win a game with a player that got shot this season in the chest.
I think that's true. Yeah.
Yeah. What kind of star would he get for that, Cody? Or kind of. Did you hear what I said?
No, I didn't. Sorry.
That's okay. I'll say it again. So Ricky Pearsall's the only player to win a football game this year after being shot in the chest also this year, like by a gun. So do you think that is deserving of any sort of additional fantasy points or anything like that?
I mean, absolutely. I mean, realistically, like each of his fantasy points should be like have like a, I don't know, 0.5 multiplier on them.
Okay.
For
So
every
like,
point?
yeah, so he should
Is
get
that
like
compounding
1.5.
continuously or just at the end?
I think it's like exponential.
No,
Yeah.
I don't think it's exponential. I just think like if he were to get a point,
Yeah.
he gets 1.5 points instead.
Okay. I'm
Right. So
tracking.
just because
Yeah.
I mean, dude got shot and is still
He
playing
did. He
football
got shot.
and is still
I
earning
didn't get
points.
shot, and I'm not even playing football.
Yeah.
Exactly. Like,
Yeah.
what are you doing
Yeah.
with yourself?
Yeah. That's
Go
reasonable.
go go
That's very
go get
reasonable.
shot and then
Yeah.
be an eye
Well,
doctor and tell me how that
I
goes.
probably will try and avoid that actually if possible. But
I'm really curious.
yeah, and he
if
was even
Josiah,
honorable. He was trying to stop a robbery or something like that. It's kind of not crazy.
I'm really curious, like how I'm curious how Josiah came to decide to put Ricky Pearsall in his lineup this week. I mean,
Yeah,
he's
that's
not.
fair.
Like,
I
Ricky
mean,
Pearsall's not a
I
guy
can
that
tell you
like.
how. Looking at his bench,
Well,
I'll tell you
true.
exactly.
That's true.
Because Raheed Shaheed wasn't playing.
But like, well, Raheed Shaheed's hurt for the season.
No, that's
But
what
like,
I'm saying.
if Ricky Pearsall hadn't gotten shot, I would have never heard his name. And to be totally
That's
honest,
true.
I forgot who he was since that happened. So
Yeah,
how
that's fair.
Josiah just came across it, I wonder if Josiah just knew that Ricky
Yeah.
Pearsall shot. I think he's due.
Yeah,
So
I mean, he's
I don't
due.
know.
There's no doubt. No doubt.
Yeah. So that is an MVP level all time great performance right there from Ricky Pearsall and from Josiah too, pluck on him and
Yeah.
putting him in his lineup.
Yeah. He saw the greatness. He saw the
He
greatness.
did.
All right. Well, we've got 2 more matchups. Is that right? The Furries.
We got the
and then you and
furries.
me?
Let's look at this one. Let's look at the
do
furries.
this. All right. So we got the Furries and the Wizards of the Coast. Now, Wizards of the Coast. Cody's not even listening.
Sorry.
Okay. You're
That's
good.
okay. I said we've got the Furries versus Wizards of the Coast.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Good old Watsy. It's a Magic reference, Sam.
Yep.
Okay, I was about to say I don't get
They've
it.
been stepping in it
Yeah,
recently, but
yeah.
still play.
Anyways, so yeah, I mean Andrew's team really underperformed, right? Pretty lackluster week. However, uh Tanner's team is just battered and tattered, right? I mean, he has
Yeah.
the scraps of a
Oof.
team that he once had. Tua's over here, with half a brain. Um,
Mm-hmm.
I think, yeah. Then we got Chris Olave. He got killed in that one game. Christian McCaffrey's finally back, but he was questionable, so he
Yep.
didn't find his way into the roster.
Yeah.
Dak, tore his hamstring. Just
Mm-hmm.
an all around rough season for the
I
defending
mean, I
champ
mean,
Tanner.
Ferguson's team doesn't look like they've got a lot of extra players either. I mean, most of their bench looks empty.
It's true. To be fair,
True. Yeah.
yeah, I mean nobody here is really particularly good, I would say, other than Matthew Stafford, top 10 quarterback. Maybe
Yeah.
not this year, but
But of all
um,
time, maybe, yeah.
yeah. Yeah, he kind of just started the guys he had, and they got it done, right? Raheem Mostert has been pretty much non-existent this season. Saquon Barkley, this is a bit of a down week for him. He doesn't have those too often, but it kind of just didn't need him, right? They were winning so. I mean, I think they pulled their starters in like the third or something like that because they were beating
Yeah.
the Cowboys so badly.
Plus, you got Jalen Hurts stealing all the touchdowns too.
It's true, the touchdown thief himself.
Mm-hmm.
Still
And
week. What is this like?
Mahomes had an okay week.
Yeah, week 7 of trying to get Andrew to drop Patrick Mahomes and find a
Yeah.
better
Yep.
quarterback.
If Mahomes is getting good runs in, then he should probably keep running him.
The thing is, he kind of hasn't though. When we look, he's had in the last like 8 weeks, he's only had 2 performances that are maybe above his projection. Everything else has been like kind of in the 16 or under range, which is a little bit less.
How's his strike percentage though?
His strike
His strike
percentage,
percentage,
I
his strike percentage is great, I think.
yeah, I think he strikes out quite frequently.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But he throws a lot of strikes to his receivers.
that is true. That is true.
Just not for a lot of
Is he
yards.
got a good
Not for-
RBI percentage?
I
His
yeah
RBI
yeah
stats good.
he's hitting ribbies all day long. There's no doubt about
Yeah.
that.
Nice.
Yeah.
And how about his goals? Is he good with good
Um,
goals?
I think
I'd
he
say
does
so.
get some goals. Yeah,
Yeah.
Does he
certainly,
have a good
certainly.
left foot?
I
No,
don't
his
think
left
he
foot's
does.
great.
No, yeah,
His right foot's pretty
yeah,
good though.
yeah.
But
But
yeah.
Sports.
sports balling it up.
So Tanner, poor Tanner.
Poor Tanner.
Tanner started off. He started the season 3-0.
Mhm.
The defending champion came out strong, but Tanner has lost 7 straight weeks.
That's tough. And you know which running back I think is the most surprising this season? Chuba Hubbard.
Mm-hmm.
I think he
Matt
goes by
would
Chuba, but
agree.
yeah.
I think Matt would also agree that Chuba Hubbard is the most surprising, considering that he dropped him
He
like
was
week 2 or 3.
interesting. I am just astounded that Chuba Hubbard continues to score points
Huge
despite
point.
how bad Carolina is. Yeah, I mean monster days, right? He's 2
Yeah.
tuds, 1 tud. Like he's getting in the end zone with like lots of yards. But that offense is miserable. Usually you do not see productive running backs coming out
He's
of
like
terrible offenses.
I'm gonna go over to Major League Baseball real quick.
Yeah.
Chuba Hubbard on the Panthers is like Shohei Ohtani on the Angels.
Is that I don't know if that's what I would say. That's maybe a bit of a stretch, but hey, I'll allow it. We do need to cruise through. We got 2 minutes to hit our matchup, Sam.
Okay, yeah, let's get to it.
Let's just get
Adrian,
straight to it.
for you.
Yep, great. All right.
Steagles!
What do you got for me? The Steagles and the Philly Phobia with the best artwork for my team.
Yeah. So big week from Burrow.
Why a jockstrap?
For fun.
Why not? Why not? Big week from Burrow. Decent week from the running backs again. Should have started Chase Brown. Really came down to the wire. I was really worried about Jalen Waddle there at the end. Not giving me enough, but he did. You had a really solid week all the way around. White, Kelsey, Tracy all had great weeks. Ridley had a really great week.
Should have started Bucky.
Yeah. I think it really just came down to the quarterbacks, I guess. I mean, Burrow's big performance is what put me over the top.
Yeah, I almost started Geno Smith this week, but then he didn't play, so that was a little tough.
Yeah. But yeah, that's a tough week. I mean, if you'd started Bucky over Williams, then you would have ran away with it.
I would have
But
mauled you. Yeah,
that's just not how the cookie crumbled. The Seagulls that
that's
never were
fantasy football.
they continue to not be, or they continue to be. I don't know.
To be or not to be.
I mean,
Yeah,
you've got twice
there
as
you
many
go.
wins as I do.
That's
Twice
true.
as many.
So,
Yeah.
Cody, I do owe you some of my success, considering that my team is named after a script that you wrote. So,
Which turned out to be a phenomenal film.
It did. So, if you're disappointed in your fantasy team, you can take some credit for mine.
That's right.
I appreciate
Cody,
that.
it's almost like you drafted Joe Burrow. And like you picked up Kareem
I
Hunt off
didn't,
waivers.
because I wouldn't.
It's almost like you benched Chase Brown, not Sam.
Yeah.
I had Joe Burrow last year, I think.
You did.
Or was it the year before?
I think you had him. I know. So, Cody, who of everything you've seen, what are just your thoughts as we enter the last parts of the season, the last few weeks before the playoffs?
How many weeks do we have left?
I think we've got like 2 weeks before the playoffs start.
Something like that, yeah.
Wow. All right.
Let
me look at my app real quick.